so freaking long on the makeup and I can't cover those dang bags or that zit. Hey shell rats, welcome to the first installment of my taste evolution, or whatever I'm gonna call this series moving forward. I figured that I would start out with one of the first YouTube channels that I watched consistently, and I attempted to do my makeup in a way that suits the theme that the channel had at that time. For those of you who are unaware, this is supposed to be the Smosh symbol or logo or whatever you want to call it, and it was kind of like the icon. These were the colors that their channel used for their intro, and I just wanted to try and turn it into a thing for this, since that's who I'm going to be talking about today. So now that we're done this cute little like vlogger angle so that you can see all of that, you know, cuteness, I'm going to set you down and we're going to get to work on this whole little chit chat that I have based around Smosh. Hi, now you're set down. Isn't that fun? This is going to deteriorate as the video goes on, and I just want it noted that I am aware it's happening. It's probably gonna look like trash at the end. It's all good. No worries. So let's get started. Smosh was my first YouTube love. I loved them the most when they were doing their sketches, those silly little sketches in that cute little house, and before they started to branch into other types of content with new channels and the like. My all-time favorite sketch that they ever did was called Playing with Guns, but since then they've changed the title of that one to Ian is Dangerous, all caps, and I'm sure that probably has something to do with YouTube's buzzwords and whatnot with monetization and all that. But favorite sketch of all time, and I can't really explain why I liked that one so much. Maybe it was because Anthony was at his peak hotness, which saying it out loud seems like an unlikely scenario because he's literally always been a looker and he just keeps getting better. There's like no end to how good that man looks. And there you have it. That's my hot take. Hot take on Anthony Padilla. Anyway, maybe it was that the shirt Ian wears in that sketch really highlights his eyes. Maybe it was the way that the blood gushes out of Anthony's foot when he gets shot. Maybe it was the way that another YouTuber remixed the video. I'm not really sure what draws me to that one so much, but I love it. I love it so much. As a quick side note, I fell in love with a very particular remix of that video, and it was so good, and I can't for the life of me find it anywhere on YouTube anymore. It must have been taken down, but in my personal opinion, the one that you can't find anymore is better than the one that shows up when you search it. So sorry to tell you that you won't be able to find that one. That was so good. The other one's okay. It's just not quite as good. You know, it's not quite there the way that the other one was. But it's good. The whole video is good. I love it. It's stupid. It's fun. It's good. It's good stuff. Sure, maybe the acting wasn't top tier, but the passion definitely was. And the love that they had for what they were producing is perhaps what made it so appealing to me in the first place, to watch their content. I could tell that they enjoyed doing what they were doing at the time, and that made it so enjoyable to watch. I was also quite young at the time, and my appreciation for the type of humor that they were using was probably like at its utmost, you know. I ended up drawing some pictures of them in the outfits they wore in the Playing with Guns sketch and sent them to them, but I never ended up seeing them in the video. And this has been a really terrible segue to a point on their mail opening videos, which I found intriguing because you got to see genuine reactions to things people wanted to send to them. And I remember several references to anthrax, which I had to Google to understand because that's how old I was. And these videos, from what I recall, were funny, and they showcased that they were naturally funny, and not just in a scripted sense, but in like a moment to moment, off the cuff kind of a way. But my interest started to dwindle with the introduction of the new channels. I was still a dedicated fan though, and I made an effort to try finding things in each kind of offshoot that I could enjoy so that I could continue to support them. So for instance, in their gaming channel, I developed a bit of a crush on Lasercorn, and that made things there easier to watch. They had a cartoon from time to time that would catch my attention. The one that comes to mind is Pubertina, and that one was awkward, and so that was enough to be enjoyable. And then when it came to Smosh Pit, Mari was just cool. It was hard not to love Mari, and so it was easy to get into Smosh Pit, or Smosh Pit Weekly, excuse me. And that's where I lose track of what all came into being as branches of the Smosh original channel. But don't get me wrong, like, diversifying is a smart move, and you broaden your audience while hopefully maintaining the one that you already have, and that gets you more views, and that's the reason, that's the thing you gotta do on YouTube, right? But when you stretch yourself so thin, I think whatever love there is for the project gets diminished, and that could be either in the actual feeling for the project or in the ability of that love for it to show through. That's not to say, though, that they didn't love what they were doing anymore, but in my eyes as a viewer, seeing them go from kind of one individual channel and target to so many at the same time, it just didn't feel as genuine anymore. The love that they had for what they were making didn't come through as much. And again, I'm not saying that they didn't love what they were doing anymore. I can't possibly know that. But it didn't feel as real anymore, to me personally as a viewer. And so that gave me some trouble with maintaining my watching of, or trying to watch everything that they were doing, because it felt so stretched and so ingenuine, I guess, is the best way to put how I felt about that. Later, with the hiring of several others for their Smosh team, there came a series that I believe was called Parttimers, and I watched this one start to finish. It was not just to support my boys in their new endeavor, though that was a big part of it, but also it ended up being pretty enjoyable. Like, the acting was decent, and the plot turned into like this ridiculous series of events, and that held my attention. And it was pretty good. It was funny. It was short-lived though, and mind you, I was getting older, and I was a different person than when I started watching their channel, and I had evolved at the same time as them, but in a different direction, I guess. Hence the whole my taste evolution thing. But my schoolgirl crush on Anthony was pretty much the only reason I was sticking around at all after that. And when he left, I was officially ready to give up my status as like a fan, because what they were branching into wasn't really suiting my tastes anymore, and that's just something that happens. People change, channels change, it happens, it's cool. I occasionally boogie over to their channel to watch their try not to laugh videos, because I get a kick out of some of the bits and some of the guests that they have on there. So Shane's whole hello insert pizza place here, you're my favorite pizza place, and my name's Boneless are two of my favorite repeat jokes that they have on there. They just land real well on my tarmac, if you get my drift. And once I make it past the slight cringe, albeit necessary intro of the whole punching the notification bell thing, everything else in the video just seems like they are so genuinely enjoying what they do, and I feel like that's what I need to be able to see to enjoy what I'm watching. So mentally and at heart, I will always be a supporter of Smosh as a whole. Ian and Anthony were the first to hit my main YouTube vein, and without them, I don't think I would even have developed an interest in doing this for myself. And just because my interest has diminished doesn't mean I don't respect what they do, and I think that is something that not enough people consider, is that just because something doesn't tickle your fancy anymore doesn't mean it's not a worthwhile endeavor, and I have some really mad respect for Smosh. Like I said, I continue to go to Smosh's channel every now and again. I watch Anthony Padilla's videos, not religiously, but I do really enjoy them now. And so I've followed the boys in separate directions at least a little bit. And I just think it's one of those things that happens. So there you have it. I'm undecided on if I should do the next video in this series about someone I currently enjoy or about someone I used to enjoy as well. Like if I should be staggering like then and now, or if I should do then and then now. I guess you could let me know in the comments what your thoughts on that are, what you'd like to see next. And now I'm gonna go shave my legs for the first time since the beginning of March and crawl into a very freshly made bed with crisp new sheets, which is something that I recommend everybody do at some point or other in their life, is shave their legs bald as can be and get into a fresh bed. Like, dude, there's nothing better. I love you all. Peace out, shell rats.